Today we had another excellent meeting to introduce or at least to provide training and orientation to các trưởng who may want to learn about the Microsoft Teams, which is a service that we have out now for our members, and more so in this particular time, every ngành from every đoàn. If you attended the call yesterday, you have an account with dial-in features that you can use so that you can support your ministry. So more to come on that, or follow our announcement or reach out to our ủy viên kỹ thuật trưởng Viễn Hứa, and he'll be more than happy to assist you in that sense. So as of right now, we are over 100 members, and the number coming up. If you just dial in, please hit mute.
What's going on? I can't hear anything. Something wrong?
I heard someone speak, and you're on mute.
I hear some voice now.
Okay, and
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Dạ, con là Biên. Tạm thời lúc mà Dương bị mute thì thôi, để con không biết là Dương đã nói tới đâu rồi, introduce hai người ủy viên mà awesome của mình chưa? Có trưởng James và trưởng Cương on the line rồi phải không ạ? Tối hôm nay cũng giống như là cách đây 2 đêm thì chúng ta có cái chương trình của ngành ấu lại ngành thiếu. Mình cũng có được cái sự tham dự của rất là đông người, và đêm hôm nay thì chúng ta sẽ có cái ngành nghĩa và ngành hiệp. Thì là ủy viên của ngành nghĩa, chúng ta có trưởng James hiện diện với chúng ta, và ủy viên của ngành hiệp sĩ. Wait, I might have it reversed. Sorry. Ủy viên của ngành nghĩa thì chúng ta có trưởng Cương, và ngành hiệp thì chúng ta có trưởng James. Và pass lại cho Dương. Dương vô được chưa?
Yeah, right. Cảm ơn chị. Many apologies. I accidentally hit mute. Yeah, if you're coming in, just kind of mute yourself, and then we can unstart. All right, and so cảm ơn chị being to cover. So tonight, actually, everybody's in for a really exciting treat tonight. First off, for ngành nghệ sĩ, ngành hiệp sĩ, you have two of our brightest and our youngest and our most energetic cha tương úy của phong trào. So on the screen, you should see cha tương úy của ngành nghệ sĩ là cha Paulo Chu Trọng Phước. He's from the Salesian of Don Bosco, specializing just in the youth. And for those who don't know, he is also a high school teacher. So he pretty much knows how to work with các em hiệp sĩ, or even some our nghệ sĩ kids. And he started in Thiếu Nhi as ấu nhi and all the way up. He and I, we were peers back then. We call each other mày tao back then, but bây giờ là gọi là cha. But he's awesome to work with. And then our next priest, who may not be on tonight, but you might have seen him from celebrating Mass a couple weeks ago. His name is Cha Yoan Kim Cẩu Phạm Hoàng Trung. He's from the Jesuits, Yom Ten. And this guy is also another amazing guy. Today they dubbed him the running priest. He ran over 26 marathons or so, and each marathon is about 26 plus something miles. And so the guy's quite amazing, and he's been journeying with us. And both of our chaplain here tonight, not only they cover ngành nghệ sĩ, ngành hiệp của Trung ương, they also lead their own liên đoàn as cha tương úy của liên đoàn Paulo Hạnh and liên đoàn EHCO. So we're excited to have them. They'll kick us off with our prayer. And then, chị Biên already introduced, we have two amazing ủy viên, anh Cương and then James. And again, both of these not only are ủy viên, anh Cương is also liên đoàn trưởng của liên đoàn Ra Khơi, and trưởng James is also liên đoàn phó nghiên huấn của liên đoàn Nguồn Sống. So you have a team of very talented, excited, and very dedicated huynh trưởng to join with us here. And so really, we're glad to have you here. We're at 130 người plus now. And just so real quick, the purpose of us having this call, that really we're in a very unique times. Just kind of think about it for a second, when literally the whole world comes to a halt. And I've never seen anything like it in my lifetime. I'm sure most of you haven't, where really Thiếu Nhi, for the first time since our 35 năm, 36 năm in existence, all ministry stops, all in person at least. And so with that, our effort here is that even though our in-person activity stops, our roles as Huynh, our vocation as a youth leader, our responsibility as a big brother, big sister, whom we have taken an oath to promise to journey with the youth and to be there with them. And I like to reference what Pope Francis said a couple of weeks ago, that really in time of crisis, we need to be there for our church. We need to be there for our members. If we abandon them now, don't expect them to come to us when there are no crisis. And so with that same mentality, các em, they need us more now than ever to live the faith, to really be grounded in the Word of God, which is a pillar of our movement, and also to live the Eucharistic day. And this is where all of us are invited to come in. And the fact that tonight we have over 130 người just now, I think it speaks volume to your commitment, your dedication to help you so that you can help các em. And this is truly for các em. And our goal here is so that every week, at least make some effort to engage các em at least once a week during this difficult time, and then continue on. So Hai Trưởng and Cha Phước has put together an excellent outline for everybody tonight. Please follow through, and then at the end we'll open up, because we also like to hear from you what some of the things that you've been able to do successful, and some of the things that you've been able to do well at your đoàn, so that we can learn together as one community. And so again, welcome for tonight, and I'll turn it over to Cha Phước for our opening prayer, and then Trưởng James and Trưởng Cương will take it away. Right. Con xin kính mời cha.
Cảm ơn Trưởng Dương. Thiếu nhi thánh thể chúng ta mỗi Chủ nhật hay mỗi lúc chúng ta gặp sinh hoạt, chúng ta hát bài Tên Hành Ca. Thì trong cái bài hát đó nó có cái câu là được trang bị chúng bằng tinh thần mới, không? Nhưng mà chúng ta rèn những khả năng phi thường. Chúng ta trong những hoàn cảnh đó, chúng ta cũng đi chia sẻ phúc âm trong mọi hoàn cảnh, nhất là lúc đại dịch này. So we are called to rèn những khả năng phi thường. So that's why we're here. And so in this spirit of desire to always improve and to do better, to bring God's word in this time. And so we know that we're in the presence of Jesus Christ. Lạy Chúa Giêsu Thánh Thể, xin Ngài hiển nhất chúng con, cho chúng con biết sao là thánh ý Chúa trong lúc đại dịch này, để giúp cho chúng con, soi sáng cho chúng con, để con biết những cái khả năng, chúng con biết những khả năng, những tài năng để chúng con đưa ra, để rèn những khả năng phi thường, để phúc âm hóa môi trường, để chúng con cho các em gần gũi với Chúa, và bản thân chúng con cũng vậy, cũng được gặp gỡ Chúa qua các em, qua mọi người trong lúc đại dịch này, để chúng con luôn tìm được niềm vui, niềm bình an và chia sẻ phúc âm bây giờ và ở mọi nơi. Chúng con cầu xin nhờ Đức Chúa Giêsu Kitô Chúa chúng con.
Amen.
Okay.
All right, con xin cảm ơn cha. All right, everybody, the time you've been waiting for, let's all put your hands together and welcome Trưởng James and Trưởng Cương. Yay, let's cheer him on. All right, James and Cương, take it away.
Hello. Do you hear me? All right, I'm not muted.
Yes,
right?
Loud and clear.
All right, thank you. So thank you, Các Jung, for calling in. Like Jung said, my name is Trưởng James. I'm Huynh Hipsi for Bachelor Trung Ương this year, or for this term. So I would like to kind of go through, and let's start off with a Kahoot game. Okay, so we're gonna play Kahoot. So if you have your phones, if you're on your computers, that's like the best thing. If you're on your mobile devices, this might be a little bit complicated, because I will share my screen with everybody, and then you're going to go to this. Actually, I'll show you. Okay, so this is one of the things that I do at work as a teacher. Kahoot knows that this is for a virtual classroom, because all classrooms in California are now closed. So I'm gonna go here, and I'm going to bring this up here. This one, if we're gonna go classic game. So what you need to do is on your phones, you want to go to kahoot.it right here, KAHOOIT.IT, and then there is a PIN code number down below 647-9739. Please write your name, your Dawn, and then what Lindon you're from, so we know who is represented. There is also a prize for the winner. Okay, so there is a prize for the winner. And then for those who called on yesterday, no, it is not the $200 free retreat. It is actually something pretty good. Okay, so I don't want to tell you because you can have the choice at the end of the game. Okay, so all right, so thank you. Remember, so we want name, Dawn name, and then Lindon as well. Okay. All right, right now we have 30 players. I think on the call we had about, what was it? The number was 100 something, right? So I'm gonna wait for 110 players and then I will start the game. And then, you know, it's some interesting times right now. So Phone Chat doesn't have a lot, but we will give the top winner a prize, okay? So there are 10 questions that we're gonna go through with some poll questions included in there. So that's a total like 14 different slides that we're gonna go through. Okay, so thank you for everybody who's signing in right now. This makes me feel really happy because I do this every week with my students. And the freshmen and sophomores, they love this stuff. Okay, so even YISIs and all the way up to seniors in high school, they love this too. So all right, we're at 71 players. We got, I see Jung Hong from, well, I missed it. Jung Hui from LBT, Catherine from, I don't know what that one was. We got somebody from Lyndon, Diamond Savio. All right. We got Zan from Tampa. Okay. A couple more minutes. Currently, I'm in full screen mode, so I can't see any of the chat boxes. Okay, so I'm waiting for 100 players, and then we'll start. If you join in late, the code number should still be in the chat group. Okay, or if somebody can type the game pin number into the chat box for everybody, so once we start, people can still join us. Okay, so we don't want people waiting too long. We want to have fun tonight. We want to give you all options on what you guys could do online with your YISI HITSI kids. So we're at 81, 82. I might just start in like 30 seconds. If you don't want to play and you just want to watch us have fun, that's perfectly fine too.
We're at 149 people now, 150 people.
Okay. All right. Oh, man. All right. So, Jazz on. Okay, Jazz, I see you. I don't know what Jazz that is. I don't know if that's Jazz or Jazz Phước, but okay. Joy one. Không sao.
Jazz Phước là
You got
Jazz
somebody from Australia? Oh, man. All right. We got people. All right, I think we're gonna start. Okay, I'm gonna start. So we, in the interest of time, don't worry. We also have other games, online games that we're gonna demo tonight as well. Okay, so here we go. Prizes. Let me tell you the prizes. No, I'll save it to the end. All right, here we go. Anticipation. Here we go. Starting. All right. First one's a poll question. We want to know what ngan you teach. Okay, what ngan do you teach? There's no right answer. It's okay. All right. Oh, Nghi at 39% today. Very nice. Followed by my Hipsies at 34%. Owen Teal, who couldn't call on Tuesday, but or wanted to call in again. They're also here with us today. All right. So welcome everybody. So next question. Next question is another poll question. Have you ever played a game of Kahoots? Have you ever played a game of Kahoot? Okay. Couple first timers, but everybody. All right, very nice. All right, here we go. First real question. When Jesus entered Jerusalem on Palm Sunday, what animal was he riding on? Please type in your answer. One word answer. Maximum is a 2-word answer. All right. So, all right, very good. I had to double check the Bible before Ja. I get in trouble by Ja or Unyoung, right? So the word "ass" is used, or "ass" is actually in the Bible. Okay, so thinking in the mindset of Nghi or Hipsi, they will probably write that. So, but anyways, yes, very good. Moving on. All right, here are my points. All right. Mary from Linda Ignacio, Chu Haidong. All right, in first place. Here we go. The faster you answer the questions, the more points you get. True or false? Palm Sunday is the start of Holy Week. All right. Answer is true. Holy Week's the last week of Lent. Okay, so I had to check my resources. All right, here we go. Ooh, Lyndon Binduk, Jung Kathy, very nice. All right, here we go. Let's see. Next question. What do the palms of Palm Sunday represent? Baptism, Christ's triumphant entry into Jerusalem, surrender, something to cool down a sweating Jesus. Oh man. Once you have Kahoot, you can actually at the end of the game, you kind of log on and it pulls up an Excel sheet to shows there are troll answers, so you can kind of see who's messing around, right? So right now it's all like was anonymous, but at the end, as a teacher, you can kind of go in and double check and see who was answering or who got the questions right, who got it wrong, who selected what. So there's a report for that as well. All right, but anyways, here we go. MK from Damin Savio, LDS. Oh, yeah. Okay. Damin Savio. Got it. Number 6. Which sacrament was instituted on Holy Thursday? Yes, those of you who think like, wait, this is a trick question. How do you choose more than one answer? There's one more than one answer. All right, good. So those of you who chose Holy Orders and the Holy Eucharist, either answer is correct because that is what we see as a result of Holy Thursday. All right, here we go. Moving on, let's see who's in the lead now. Ooh, MK, still in the lead. Very nice. All right, question number 7. What was the Jewish feast which was being celebrated the week Christ was crucified? Please type your answer in. What was the Jewish feast which was being celebrated the week Christ was crucified? The answer is Passover. All right, very nice. All right, so moving on. All right. Wow, MK is doing well right now. All right, how many pieces of silver did Judas trade the life of Jesus for? Oh man, let's see. Wait, why did I put E? What the? Oh, there's the answer. There are the answers. Very good. Bam.
Damn, Canada. Everyone.
Come on, America. Place the following events in chronological order. All right. Place the following events in chronological order.
Betrayal, arrest, trial before Jewish, and trial before Pilate.
Oh man, only 40% of the group got it right. So Yosemite is when Jesus was kind of praying in the garden, and all of his friends kind of fell asleep on him, and he couldn't stay awake for him. Betrayal and arrest is when Judas kind of brought the Pharisees to and kind of gave Jesus a kiss on the cheek, and then obviously he went on trial amongst the Jewish authority first, and then he was brought to Pilate. All right, so I like Kahoot because after every question, you can kind of chime in and kind of give GECM a lesson. So not only is this a competitive game, you can also use it as a kind of like reviewer or kind of like to teach GECM as well. You can also use this as kind of like a intro piece as well to a new unit or a new lesson. All right, so here we go. Let's see. Oh, new leader, Nam from Andre Jung Lindon Dinduk. All right, the South is rising. All right, here we go. All right, let's go. Question number 10. Who did Pilate release instead of Jesus? Who did Pilate release instead of Jesus? Okay, very nice. I like. All right. 48 people, 30. Oh, Barnabas. Oh, tricky names. All right, here we go. Let's see. Ooh, Denny from Lindon Blindick. Wait, is Denny the guy that is on the IT team who's an amazing team for Feng Chao? All right, here we go. Question. I think this is the last question for the trivia section. So the winner after this one is the true winner. Okay, so here we go. What is the correct order of these stations of the cross? Ooh. Steady stream of answers right now. People thinking really hard. Some people probably Googling it right now. I see you.
I think to prevent Googling, you should give only 10 seconds. Next time.
This music's intense.
Yeah, this is way
People
too
taking
long.
the full time.
This is Huynh trưởng level here.
I had to make sure it was appropriate for Huynh cấp mode all the way up. Oh man, 20%. Jia Ben, you didn't see this. Make sure you pay attention during the passion, and then make sure you look at the Station of the Cross at your church this Friday or this week, please. Or yeah. All right, here we go. So 20% got it right. Here we go. So, all right. So the winner is Jung Denny. All right, so Jung Denny, make sure you message me on the side or send an email to james.h.nguyen@veym.net. and then we'll get you your prizes. I was thinking either, you know, Anyung offered a Tuni jacket, but I also thought that, hey, you know what? Once we come back to Tuni, you could kind of get a ice cream party for your cup or nine on. All right, so make sure you get that down. Okay, so make sure you give me that information. Whether that be, you know, a ice cream party in September, then, you know, so be it. But yeah, all right, so that's the game. Or actually, hold on, we got 2 poll questions. So at this moment, how comfortable do you feel about Sinhuating online with Nghi and Hipsy, or? So 100% ready, 75% ready. I'm confused at 50 or less than 50%. I'm so lost. I don't know what to do. All right, we have 34% of the group that's 75% ready, and then we have a big chunk here who is either at 50% or lower. All right, so that's good to know. So this blue section is 75%, and this red section, right, the 21% here. Make sure when we get to that share out section, you kind of give us some ideas of what you're doing, and then those of you who are, you know, in the yellow or green area, have no fear. If you have questions on how to Sinhua with Nghi or Hipsy during that Q&A section, please ask your questions, and then we have a lot of great minds in here. I feel like the best Huynh, you know, are the ones who Sinhua with Hipsy. Just saying, no, you know, no personal bias or anything like that. But no, just kidding. All Huynh are special. All right, so here we go. And then finally, last question, poll question: what area do you need the most help in? Okay, so what area do you need the most help in? Oh, did I make this a quiz question? Oh man, I didn't mean to do that. It's supposed to be a poll. But lesson topics, Sinhua ideas, faith-based materials, or platforms and apps. What are we looking for? I think I thought I clicked poll. All right. Oh, it was a poll. They just wanted to give us the music. All right. So Sinhua ideas is the biggest thing that we want to show here. 90% is platforms and apps. 20% for faith-based, and then 13% is looking for lesson topics. All right, so that was kind of good information to you know, to look at. Oh, let's look official. Thank you, Jung Hui from Lê Bảo Tiến, Jung Yat from Canada, representing Canada.
Wow.
And then finally, 12 out of 13 questions. We have Jung Denny from Lindon, Denmark. All right, so here we go. For sure. Let me screenshot this.
Yay.
All right, so chúc mừng nha, chúc mừng.
All right, chúc mừng. All right, go ahead while James switches the screen. We have our Cha Chung, whom I introduced earlier as Cha Tung Huynh and Hipsy. He joined us. He's our priest that you saw from the picture. Cha Chung, welcome, Cha. You want to say hi? A couple words, Cha? Come my Cha.
Yeah, hello các bạn. I was trying to find how to information to get on. Now I can get on. Just to say hi.
Okay. Well, how many marathons are you at now, Cha? Are you at 28, 27?
The age? I'm 45.
No, your marathons. How many marathons have you ran already?
Marathon? 25 now.
25. Wow, that's amazing. Glad to have you, Cha. All right, back at you, James.
All right, thank you, Anh. Cảm ơn Cha. Cha Chung is our Cha Tuni for Ngan Hipsy, and then Cha Phước, who did our opening prayer, is our Cha Tuni for Nghi, and Anh Cương is also on the line, and he is our Ubin Nghi for Jung Eung. All right, so let's go through our agenda today. So we did our Kaimak already. We did the icebreaker, which is Kahoot. We're gonna go through some online shout outs. We can look at some resources, and then we have Q&A and share out at 6, and then we have BIMAC at 7, which is Baymac, because you know, I'm VSL, Vietnamese second language. But here we go. So shout out. So you know, Bachelor Jung Eung, as well as a lot of Huynh on social media, has seen so many good things so far online, and things that you guys are sharing. And so we just want to highlight some of those things that I feel that the các em Nghi Hipsy has really enjoyed during this time period where we can't go to Sinhua physically, but các trưởng are doing such a great job kind of at keeping các em engaged in our mission for Phong Chao. And so these are just some of the things that I've seen. Obviously, my social network isn't that vast yet, and so a lot of it is kind of like, you know, I try to follow on Instagram throughout the country and try to steal ideas or kind of like, look at Toonie things, Toonie events, that brings joy to my heart. So some things that we're looking at. Whoop. Why is it not shifting? Whoop. Sorry. Oh, here we go. So actually, is it still sharing? Yes, it is still sharing. All right. So one thing that my Dawn's doing is we're doing what we call kind of play on words, quarantine with Tongue Tien. It's not only for the teens, it's also for Gak M as well. We couldn't find a word that kind of rhymes with it. We kind of do Sinhuat. We've been keeping, the rules of social distancing, kind of 6 feet, not so far apart. People going to other people's houses to kind of live stream this. But kids have been enjoying it. Then a Dawn out in in Virginia, Dawn Andre Jung does a weekly hangout. So here's one of the flyers that the Jung Teresa from Dawn Andre Jung kind of created to kind of remind her kids. They have the same meeting, so I kind of blocked that out so that we have no one kind of calling in to that. So advertising for that hipsies to kind of come on. Then we have something that's been blowing up on my Instagram feed a lot is these Dawn bingos. They're very Dawn specific. Sometimes some of my kids at Dawn Tongue Tien kind of made one that was very more Toonie neutral for every Dawn, so not very Dawn specific. But these are great ways to kind of like have kids reminisce about things that they've done in Toonie, things that they brings back great joys and stuff like that. And they tag their friends. So I tagged all my friends who was once in Toonie with me but are no longer in Toonie. So I kind of sent it to them to kind of think about sharing it out with them. On Tuesday during the Onyi Toonie Town Hall meeting, I think Jung Lucy from Atlanta shared that her Dawn was doing kind of like a how to live the Eucharist today, so something like Tante. And so they kind of like blasted it on the Instagram stories. They also have it as part of their highlights. So that's pretty cool. Throughout the day, they kind of typed out the prayer in both English and Vietnamese. They kind of blasted it. So when kids kind of scroll through the social media feeds, they kind of see, oh, look. And so when they see it, most likely they're going to read it. And so as they read it, they kind of sound like Dante as well. So making that go through. My rivals down the street on St. Barbara, I have mad respect for them. They tried a online SAMAC because that week they're supposed to go on their regular annual camping trip, but it was canceled. But they didn't want to have the kids just stay at home, do nothing. They did a online camp through Zoom. They had a pro Zoom account where they kind of streamed it through Facebook Live, and I think even YouTube. I was kind of just scrolling through my own business, and then it was there, so I kind of popped in, looked at, watched them make some food, kind of interesting. But here's their schedule, pretty cool. I really like the idea of their Melee Social, bring BYOC, right? Bring your own cup, and then kind of hang out and talk. They also have bungay and stuff like that. So shout out to St. Barbara for having Sam at Gandenyao. So that's that. Another thing that was pretty cool, which a lot of us can't do. Actually, this is what we could do. We could do the weekly gospel that's specific to our Dawn. We know that Feng Chao has the books for us. We know that Feng Chao has been creating the weekly gospel sharing videos for us, for GAM of all Bongan. But it makes a real difference when Gak Dawn is doing the weekly gospel for it. So this one is 51 minutes. They did the reading of, this one was the Lazarus comes back to life, right? But it was so they read the Bible. Somebody kind of talked about it, and then the cool part is that this Huynh right here, Jung Hai, I think that's his name, Jung Hai. He's very into game development, so he created this game, right? The Life with Jesus, and so this week's presentation was on Lazarus, right? So if you don't know Don West Covina, this guy right here. This guy, the teacher guy by the blackboard, he's supposed to represent Unduk because Unduk is the old guy at Dawn, right? And so they kind of gave a shout out to Unduk in that way. And then it kind of goes through, and then there's Jesus over there. There's Martha, who ran out to find Jesus to bring back and to bring Lazarus back to life. The little time ticker marks down here, you see 3 of them. Those are kind of like timestamps because as the Huynh was kind of going through the game. This is kind of like an old school Pokemon game for all my, Nintendo fans, Pokemon fans out there. Once he got to a certain area, there were 2 new questions. So there was 2 new questions. I think there was a Newt Yai question. There was a oh shoot, I forgot. I watched it on Sunday. There was two all of them were all Toonie related questions, right? And so the kids who were following on live stream, it was a multiple choice answer, and they were kind of like dropping their answers in there. And then I was looking at the recording, and there was kids from like Ungi all the way to Hipsy who's following along, right? And so obviously not all of us are game developers, but what you've been doing either on like Microsoft Teams, Zoom, Facebook Messenger calls, group FaceTime, right? All of those are very great, right? And so what we kind of want to go through right now is kind of look at the different platforms. So I'll pass that. Wait, actually, I'll just go through the platforms right here, right? So these are some of the platforms. Microsoft Teams is what we're using right now. If you called on yesterday, you kind of had the Microsoft Teams training. I know the IT team kind of will post. I don't know where they posted it. Did they post it? The recording from yesterday somewhere. Jung Bian will kind of tell us where we can find that in the chat box. A lot of us are using Zoom, but Zoom at the same time has a 40-minute limit if you don't have a pro account, or if you're a teacher and you kind of upgraded your account. But there are other things that you can do, right? Like freeconferencecall.com is what poor Lindons use for online training. And so free conference call works just as well as all the other ones, and it's free as long as you're not a T-Mobile user who's calling in, and they'll charge you a penny a minute or something like that. But just have them download the app; they should be fine. WebEx is another one. Discord is what kids used to kind of talk about. I just learned about Discord last week, so I've been using that. I've seen teachers use Twitch. And so pretty much the platforms you want to use is like whatever platform the kids are on, and things that you already know how to use, you should use those platforms, right? One is not always better than the other. There's like things that one thing has that another one doesn't have. But what we want to do is like show you, right? So I know a lot of kids, Hitsi, as well as Huynh who play online games. They have Discord already, right? So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pass this over to Jia Phuc, who is a high school teacher, and he uses Discord to teach his classes. So I'm gonna pass that over to Jia Phuc to kind of show how you can use Discord to engage at game. So go ahead, Jia.
All right. I'm using two laptops right now, but one should be working well. So I'm going to share with you my screen. So I teach high school here in New York, the center of this pandemic. And so I'm trying to keep engaged the students, whatever way, keep them interested in class. So I teach freshman religion and coding for the seniors. So as you see here, I have a class for religion freshmen. On the tab here, I created a server for each class. So if you recognize these four guys, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, so I use that for the scripture class. As for this here for coding class, so there are two types of setup. The simplest one is for the religion class. So I create an instruction group where I have a question channel. They could chat. They come in. They say they're here. They could ask a question. And then I'll give the presentation here. So I click on presentation. And so they could hear my voice like you hear my voice right now. And then I could go even live stream. I mean, I could share with people my screen. So let's say I'm sharing with them Teams, whatever you have on your screen, a browser or a Microsoft Word or PowerPoint. And so you could see people join in the window here. Okay, so this is very controlled. Now, I'm going to go to the coding class, which I give my students a little bit more control. So don't mind the comments. Boys in high school, they could say things a little bit over the line. So here, so the same thing, questions and presentation. Okay, so I go by Father Paul. And then for the coding class, I encourage them to work together. And so I told them to create text channel, like say two guys working together, so they can communicate by text, or I could talk to me, or I could have a private talk with them. And then there's also the voice chat. So let's say a general chat. All of them can jump in and they could talk with me just like this. And I also asked the students to create their own voice chat channel so they could have a little small group discussion. Now, if you're in charge, I'm the teacher, I can go into any of those voice chat and listen in to what they're saying and talking about, the kind of monitoring in the classroom. So, and then you could also live stream while you talk. Here, you could live stream your whole screen. Oh, it'll let me now, but we're just testing. Just show Discord again. So it goes live. So you see the mini screen there? Whatever is on my screen, the student will see. When they join, there'll be a number here. All right, so that's my demo, but I'm gonna show you how to have one yourself. Okay, so I'm gonna stop sharing. All right, so I will share with you the link to a sample server. So based on those two classes, I create a template server. You can just click on it and create a server yourself, just like that. It took me hours to configure, but then you can just click on that and you should be able to see it. So if I go to the chat box, meeting chat, you can see the template for my server. So you can create your own server. So for example, if you want to join my server right now, I will give you the link. So the first link was just a sample to create your own. So here you go. Okay, so the second, if you click on it, you will create an account quickly and you could be in my class. So that's it. You can explore around yourself. This is a fun way. This is a one way to keep them engaged, to try to simulate a classroom. I do this for various reasons. I have control over the audio, the text, everything. So I can lock the room. That way they don't invite anybody else in. There's a history of everything. And then I can also invite other teachers who can monitor with me. So this makes it easier. Yeah, so that's it. You have any question? Okay, I'm good.
All right, thank you, Chad, for that. Time to switch back, but as I kind of pull up my screen again, just a couple of things that Jack kind of talked about, right? Like having control over our platform. So being able to choose a platform that you are comfortable using. So we want to be sure that whatever platform you use, no matter up here, whatever it is you use, you want to be able to be knowledgeable and kind of look at, right? And so with me being a teacher, right, working in the Bay, I was able to get, or just all teachers in general, being able to get Zoom. And I know that Zoom's probably one of the more popular one, just because of the quality of their, video conferencing and breakout rooms and stuff like that. But we want to remember a couple of things, especially working with các em Nghi Hitsi, that we need to continue our safety measures. Just because we're moving things online doesn't mean that we should forget common practices, right? And so when we look at safety measures, especially online, make sure that we kind of think about our regular diocese safety training. When possible, you want to have 2 adults on the call. Otherwise, if you have a big group, right, maybe you want to you stay in a big group, and you don't want to be ever go one-on-one with a student, video call or talking with them on the phone, no matter how much they're talking about how they want to talk to you about certain things that's going on in their life, right? You want to keep a written record of what's going on, because once we just want to avoid those situations. Sometimes, our intentions are very pure. And sometimes it just takes one person to kind of mess it up. So make sure if you're in Anjung or Anjung, that you always protect yourself that way, right? Also, one thing that that's being presented to me is about Zoom trolls. Making sure that when you share your conference IDs or conference links, you want to make sure that you do it in a more secure area, so that way that link isn't on. That link is just public, and people can kind of find it and click on it and join your thing, and then take over controls of your Zoom conferences and showing inappropriate pictures and stuff like that. And so you make sure you want to be able to use functions like in Zoom. There's like the waiting room, making sure that everybody who should be in your class is going to be there. And once you let those people in, then you can lock your Zoom rooms, and then that way no one else kind of like randomly come in. You want, maybe if you're doing online sharing, maybe if you have some, Nghi or Hipsi who kind of fat, and you want to make sure that they don't do anything crazy, like share their whiteboard and then start drawing, like male body parts and stuff like that. Maybe, it's a good thing to try to go through your settings and kind of make sure that your audience the best, right? I'm not saying that all Hipsi boys or Nghi boys are like that, or even all girls are angels and whatnot. We want to be able to make sure that we know our audience, and we put up the appropriate safety measures for các em, and then the the sanctity of that Sinhua time period. So just as we go online, I just wanted to remind everybody of the safety measures that we need to take as we enter into the digital age of Nghi. Okay, so with that, I'm gonna pass it over to Angkung. I'm gonna mute myself. I'll control the slideshow though, but we're gonna look at what to teach and then how to teach. So Angkung, I'll pass it over to you.
Okay, thank you, James. So a lot of things that we want to focus on is we want to continue to educate, because that's what we do, is to educate các em about their faith. So making sure they stay up with like the current events, from like messages from the popes, anything that we want to promote about their morality, their religious life. We want to continue that. So anything that, usually a lot of the good things is the things that Huynh sends out from like Facebook. Always want to promote that. So especially being part of the mass, now that everyone is doing digital mass, our Nghi mass is great because it's focused on các em. The other thing we want to definitely continue to promote, and James kind of talked about, is the weekly gospel. Again, the weekly gospel is a good resource that we have and now that các Huynh are volunteering to kind of make videos of it, it really helps as well. So kind of not only focus on just the reading part, but like the discussion and letting them interact with it. As far as like the regular curriculum, I think like as we go through this, we want to try to find like things that are easy to teach that we can get them to interact with through our regular curriculum, right? So not only just to focus on just the weekly gospel, but always that interaction, because we want to keep that relationship alive with các em, right? So those kind of things are the things that we want to just focus on, because it's not like a normal Nghi day. So it's not like we have a lot of time for activities and things like that. So maybe we have to think about it in a different way, thinking about how do we just engage them for like maybe 30 minutes or less, So just to do that. But one of the ideas that we came about with is like the idea is this is actually a great opportunity for us to kind of like get our kids to be interacting with other Huynh, maybe like do like guest speakers, because now most of the Huynh are at home, so you can have like, if các Huynh from like other states, they can do like be a guest speaker. They could be like a guest teacher for you for that day or whatever it is. I mean, this is a great opportunity for that, for the kids to kind of see someone else outside of their dad, right? And again, you can always ask Kakunche, and maybe you don't have to do it all on the weekend. It could be on a weeknight for like 20 minutes or something like that. So that this is another opportunity for us to kind of interact with kids and other Huynh from around the state, right? So we'll go to the next slide, and James. And James, can you click on next? Okay, so is it the how? Wait. Okay, so yeah, so kind of talking about the how. What we want to make sure that it is a good opportunity. Again, it's not just Kakunchen, but also you can also include kakcha and stuff like that as well. But just the transition from you have to start thinking about different ways to kind of engage the Sinhuat. It's not just like, we don't want to just teach to them like so that they're just sitting there and listening to us again, but finding ways to do like group work. Competition is still possible, you know, like you saw from different activities. One of the things that maybe you could work on is just trying to find ways for them to interact when they're on Zoom, right? They can send in those polls, they can send in like send in questions that they get. But you have to start thinking about different ways to transition from the normal Sinhuat to like a digital Sinhuat as we go. Right. And again, we also want to continue to do things that are normal things, which is like the prayer. So to continue to do that, so that helps with their spiritual life grow as well. Okay. So a lot of times we have to think about this in forms of like trying to be creative. You really have to use what is accept what we have and just try to be as creative as possible. We'll kind of give some ideas later on. So we go to the next one. Next slide, James. So these are some of like the ideas that have kind of come up to kind of keep us engaged and interacting with the kids. Maybe we don't want to, like, if we don't have the time to be there. One of the things that some people have done is there's a website called Flipgrid that we at my school is doing. It's kind of like a video. It's a video platform, so people can record videos, and one person is the administrator, and you send the link to Kakayam. So when the Flipgrid, all you really do is you can focus on like a message, maybe like a positive message that the Huynh want to give to the kids. It's quick videos, but then only the people that have the link can actually view the video. So it kind of controls who can view it, and the administrator can check to see who views it, how many people view it, and if they comment, you get the comment back. Right, so things like that, just to show that the kids that we're still thinking about them, right? That they're still part of our like normal weekly routine, even though we don't get to see them weekly, right? So those are things that we can do. There are tons of other apps that a lot of Dans are looking to try. One is one Don told me they're trying the Rave app, which is an opportunity for them to watch YouTube videos together, and after they watch it, they're gonna, because now the weekly gospels are on YouTube, they can watch the weekly gospel together and then have a discussion or a chat discussion right after that. So, you know, you have to find ways to kind of to encourage them to show, like, continue that interaction, because we don't want the kids to think that we forgot about them. Right. So I think that's what we want to start thinking about, is that this is a new way to interact with them, trying to find the ways to encourage them and also at the same time keep that connection with them.
All right, thank you, Uncle, for that one. Moving on, talk about some Sinhua ideas, right? So I know it's kind of like, well, what do we do besides teaching? You know, and like what we talked about earlier, we have to adapt, right? So I know that my daughter in San Jose, we Sinhua form from like 1:30 to like 3:15, 3:30, and then max at 3:45. That's a 2 hours time slot. Whereas like my daughter in SoCal, we just have from 2 to 3:30, half an hour break, and we go to mass at 4 o'clock. Like the HIPCs and ESCs, we have to be able to make things fun and kind of like things for them to want to come, because we have to understand that from Monday through Friday, they still have classwork that they need to do, right? I know that certain kids in certain parts of the country right now are kind of like on break and they're waiting for online instruction. But we have to kind of understand that maybe like we don't need to go the whole 2 hours still. Maybe we just do half hour, 45 minutes, and that's enough, because like kids have so many other options and we want to make it like special and meaningful for them. So with my hip C's, I talked to them and I asked them, hey, what time works for you guys? And then we kind of keep it at 4:30 p.m. on Saturdays, because that's the usual Sinhua time that we have with each other. And so we want to make that time like kind of so like important to us. Saturday 4:30 is to me time. Doesn't matter if we're at St. Elizabeth in Milpitas or we're at home. And so we kind of keep that time period, and then I ask them, how long do you guys want to do this for? And they go an hour and a half, and then we kind of do with what works. And if kids want to stay back after, we do that. So some things that we want to do is that last Saturday for Sinhua, I kind of started off with just checking in. I have a prompt for we kind of talk about what we did during the day or during the week. What do we do? Then I have a focus question like, what's one thing that you appreciate more now that you're on lockdown or stay at home? And so we have that dialogue to build community with one another. And then we go into weekly gospel, and then I teach a lesson that's like 10 minutes long. And then after that, I felt like I gave them enough Jesus for the day, so I kind of wanted them to have fun. So then I found code names online, and we were able to play code names, which is like a regular card game / board game that I thought was pretty fun. And then like we kind of made it work through Zoom. And stuff like that, and the kids had fun and they were engaged and they were having discussions, and we still had that teamwork. We still had and stuff like that. And so sometimes like we go online and all we think about is entertaining the kids, and we kind of forget what the purpose of Untitled is, right? And so I wanted to make sure that when we go online, no matter if it's for Nghi or hip C, that we kind of keep things Bible-licious at all times. And so that means like we have to play games like Bible Mad Gab, which we'll play a couple rounds in a bit, or using the whiteboard function and playing like Pictionary, and then using like things from that week, from our lesson or from the weekly gospel, that we still continue that idea of keeping Sinhua Christ-based in all that we do. Okay, actually, if you saw my my quarantine with my dog, we taught a pretty childish song, but I mean, it was fun. My mom was in the background. She was kind of like, what? I thought you teach hip C, not Nghi. And she was making fun of me. If you're good with matus, you create matus online. It doesn't always have to be paper anymore. You could do like virtual matus and kind of send those out as weekly challenges and see who comes back with the right answers first. And so you can still continue to do certain things that are Sinhua based. So let's do this though. All right. We're gonna play Bible Mad Gab. So I'm going to read a slide. Obviously, what I say isn't what I really mean. And so in the chat box, right? Or if you want to unmute yourself, I think if you're on the computer, you hit like space bar. If you're muted, kind of temporarily unmute yourself to yell out the right answer. And then we'll have fun that way. Okay, so either in the chat group or you want to unmute yourself and yell and let us hear your angelic voices, then that's cool too. Okay, so the first one, exit us. Exit us, exit us. It's all Bible related stuff, but all I can say is the words. So exit us. I see something in the chat group when I say exit us. Oh, okay, good, very good. Exodus, very good. I see Amy and Elizabeth got those, so very nice, very nice. All right, here we go. Next one. So the answer was Exodus. All right, next one. Thick cruise of fiction. Thick cruise of fiction. Thick cruise of fiction. Thick cruise of fiction. I have an answer. It is, who said it? Oh, good. Amy, on fire. The crucifixion is the answer. Good. The crucifixion, right? And so later we'll share this slideshow. And if you go to slide 21, down below, there's a link to a Quizlet that has all the answers. Like it has all the clue words, and it also has some of the list. I just suggest you kind of go through them because it is Quizlet. I don't know if they're Catholic or Christian. So make sure you go through it before you choose the right one. There's like 1,200 different Mad Gab options on that link. Okay, so next one, beef root fill land mold apply. Beef root filled land mold apply. Beef root fill land, mold, apply. Beef, root, field, land, mold, apply. Beef, root. Oh, do you have an answer? Oh, yes. Christina Ngọc Chan. Be fruitful and multiply. Good. Very good. So be fruitful and multiply. And so those are some of the games. We did Kahoot. We did Bible Mad Gab. We kind of talked about we'll go back into this slide right here, right? Pictionary was a fun one with right. And so some kids who are more skilled with driving with a mouse or a trackpad. But a lot of simple ideas. Like now we're not always limited to for myself, my dog house at a park. So a lot of times it's very low tech. But now that we are online, the possibilities are endless, right? Even though we lose that physical interaction or that one-on-one space right away, we could still make it work, right? So those are some of these suggestions that I've seen so far. But before we go back to JA and spiritual guidance, right? Let me give you some tips real quick. So weekly gospel, right? So VUI books and the videos are on the Fengjiao webpage on the weekly gospel. So check those out. The kids should have the books. There's also PDF. So if you wanted to send them the link for the weekly gospel, then that's cool. But for myself, when working with HipC, I feel like if we give them the same cookie cutter stuff that everybody in America is using, they would kind of be like, well, this is kind of lame, right? So especially with HipC and even with my high school, my freshmen and sophomores in high school, which is Nghi age, we have to make sure that what we do is we personalize it to our group. Personalization is key. We could use the resources, we could kind of watch it and discuss, but we also, as Huynh, want to be the leader of the faith of that group. And so personalization is key. With HipC, because they may have a lot of time on their hands because they might not always be so productive with their time with schoolwork. Maybe it's a good time to teach GECM HipC how to lead a weekly gospel and then have them lead it amongst themselves. But with that, again, you need them to have a you want them to continue to have a practice. You have to teach them how to do it, and then have them work about in a group setting first, and then so they know how am I going to present this to my peers, and then they kind of you do it, and at the end of their faith sharing group, then you can kind of have the HipCs kind of give pros and kind of tips of what things that they like and where can they improve upon, so that they can get better, right? So it's kind of a safe area for GECM HipC to kind of take the next step and to start spreading the good news amongst themselves before they go and become Huynh and start spreading the good news to the younger siblings. Right. Other things you can do: pick a date and go to mass online together. I know that going to online mass at a certain time may be difficult, but a lot of times with online mass, one blessing is that you can watch it at whatever point in the day, right? And so maybe having GECM kind of use the app Rave or kind of sync it up old school, hey, on 3, 2, and a hit, and they kind of mute each other, watch mass, kind of celebrate mass together would be a good idea, right? And so that's another thing. Sing praise and worship songs. Once you get the link, these 3 and 4 are hyperlinked. I have me and Uncle kind of collected a bunch of resources for different, from a life team to some good readings for Huynh that I suggest looking at. This one right here takes you to a praise and worship. It's not crazy loud. It's kind of very reflective, acoustic with some vocals, very calm and soothing. 3 songs, 15 minutes of listening, jamming out, kind of listening. Nothing too crazy where parents will kind of walk in, but what are you doing, yang yaki? It's pretty good. Good music. Watching YouTube channels like Father Mike Schmidt, which is kind of short, or following our chapter Until Father Tom and his new YouTube channel. And all these ideas kind of doing things together, or as a Huynh going on online retreats and then learning something and then bringing it back and sharing with GECM. And so those are kind of the spiritual ideas that Uncle, myself, and Jia kind of brought up. But also, I want to pass it back to Jia, both Jia Phước and Jia Jung, and kind of discuss, what other ways can các Huynh trưởng Nghi HipC, what can they do to kind of continue to develop the spirituality and faith of các Nghi HipC. And again, Jia Jung is not only a marathon runner, but he also teaches at Seattle University. So both Japanese have background in education and working with with young adults and teenagers. So I'll pass it over to Cha Phước and Cha Trung. I don't know who wants to go first, but I'll pass that over.
Mời Cha Trung đi, Cha Phước nói nãy giờ rồi. Cha Phước đi sau cũng được. Cha Trung ở đó không? Ok, Cha Trung có đó à? Không thì Cha Phước nói. Cha Trung hả?
Okay, I think yeah. Từ nãy giờ nói mà chắc không có mute được, unmute được. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Rồi, chào các trưởng với lại trong đây là có luôn cả hiệp sĩ đúng không? Hiệp sĩ, nghệ sĩ.
Dạ không cha, chỉ huynh trưởng thôi thưa cha.
Huynh trưởng thôi hả? Ok, huynh trưởng.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huynh trưởng lo cho ngành nghệ sĩ và hiệp sĩ. Yeah.
Okay. Hi everybody. Okay, just to get contact with you guys. I'm glad that you will participate in this. Mình có thể thêm cái angle của James đó là cái này đưa hướng thôi. At this point, I think you should think about stability and routine. Okay, at this point, it's very important that we shift gear and we want to get into a routine and stability. Đó, cái hướng đó đó. Thì những cái gì mà James đưa ra cái gì đó keep you intact and keep going. So you have something to do and something to look forward to. Chứ nếu không, you might fall into boredom, but into addiction. This is another point I will address that to you, the second point. Nhưng mà cái goal đó là get you going. I think những cái gì mà James đưa hoặc là những cái gì mà mình phải work with our body, tức là exercise cái gì đó, will keep you on that track. Very important. Bởi vì là nếu không, we easily get to track and we easily get to other things that we don't want to. We're not aware that that's gonna draw us to. Tức là trong cái môi trường này, we should thriving as well, not just be passive. So we created so that we can thrive. Things we can thrive would be get các em như vậy chuẩn bị cái này engage. That's the practical things and that's the educational things. Okay. But also spiritual things. Spiritual things đó, nó sẽ là ví dụ như là pray and all that. Nhưng mà mình cũng phải biết cách là để làm cái gì đó để mà nó stable. Ok, bây giờ đó là thứ hai, bây giờ nó dần dần. One thing we might be aware of is addiction. At this point, để mình pull up cái gì để giáo hàng. Anyway, addiction, nếu mà mình aware nó trước thì mình sẽ đỡ bị fall into it. Addiction nó gồm có gambling, nó gồm có pornography, nó gồm có substance abuse, nó gồm có game đó. Mà những lúc này mà nó không có routine và không có stability, nó dễ get into that substance addiction. So then we have to keep our body moving, we have to keep our mind going. Okay, thì đó đưa hướng vậy thôi. So any question on that? Hay là any comments? Hay là comment cái gì đó?
Vâng, thì con cũng xin bổ sung thêm. Cha Trung nói đúng đấy. When we're bored, we don't have anything to do, we can default to things that it's so easy, like addiction. Nhưng mà một cách cha chia sẻ kinh nghiệm của cha Phước, I share for you from my experience. Some of you have seen my Facebook, live stream masses. Very simple, but I try to find a way to engage the people, and people have joined, and so I interact with people through the live stream through Zoom. And so I do the same with young people in the classroom. So try to somehow reach out and engage them. before each class, I just always ask them, how you doing? How you feeling? And some of them tell me that they're sick, they got fever. Some of them told me that they have someone who just died from COVID-19. And so really just to bring that to prayer, when we get together, it's going all over the place on this pandemic, and really bring that to prayer. Bring that, let them, let them understand that you are with them, and that you pray for them. And so various kids have reached out to me saying, someone in the family has been very sick, or one has died, and so I told them I will offer mass for this person, and so on. And so just like keep up with them, have a conversation, see how they're doing, and then in terms of like Jetu mentioned about stability, right? We need to maintain a kind of normalcy, everyday life. And so in this Discord app that it's a little bit complicated beginning to learn, but once you've mastered it, you could find ways to make it normal. So in my classroom, I had, allow kids to talk between them, to discuss, to work together. And so I'm trying to simulate that in this technology. So feel a sense of kind of new normal, but in a different way. And so that helps them to not think about problems or anxiety. But also in this stability, normalcy, that you got to add variety. And so, like I know in my family, I pray every night with them. I usually, we start praying the rosary, but then after a few days, it gets monotonous. So we go to the Divine Mercy prayer. And then, and then we go another day, we do scripture study. Another day we did, Station of Cross. And another day I introduced them to the I Breviary, Liturgy of the Hour, And so a little variety like that for my family's young adults. But I'm sure this principle works with kids, especially, Nghi, especially, their attention span. And so even allow them to come up with things to do, and let them do the research, and then you guide them and accompany them. And that's, I think that they need someone to walk with them, and that's very important at this time. And so, but always be joyful, huh? When you Zoom with them, always got to be happy, that way at least someone is happy they see. They're probably sick of seeing their parents or their brothers and sisters at home, because it's just they don't get along, whatever. You see each other so much in a small space, things going to happen like that. So if you have a nice smiling face, right, joyful face, add some music to whatever you're doing, and just to give them a chance to just to think about something else, and joy attract people, and the happiness. And that's what I do. I'm happy when I celebrate live stream mass. Let them know I'm happy to see them. I'm happy they're participating. So just those are simple ways for you to guide the young people, Gipsy and Ngisi at this time, from my experience. If you have any questions or suggestions, feel free to type into the meeting chat box too.
Anxiety có lẽ là sẽ surge, rise a lot in the next few weeks and in the long run. Cho nên là you might give yourself an opportunity to be patient, to be listening, to be sensitive. Đó, thì cái này nó sẽ test your spirit, it test your capacity. So just be aware, and if you have a moment of prayer hay là moment của sống ngày thánh thể đó, you will catch yourself in that situation, and then you can adjust. So it's very important that you reflect on things happening in the day, the emotional level, your emotions, and then how that changes. So the awareness is another aspect of this time.
Cảm ơn Hải Trà. Trà Phước, Jung Jack asks, what's your favorite song to spread joy to others?
Well, there's a lot of songs. There's that song. I forgot the name of the artist, but if you're happy, clap your hand, and things like that. It's forgot the name of it, but so there are a lot of good songs out there, and it's all it is. You just gotta know what they like. So whatever the young people like. Sometimes young people, they like to listen to rap music, so I listen to rap music also. And it's like, wow, priests listen to rap music, and there are Christian rap out there. You play, it's like, whoa, it's I didn't think priests, religion, and rap can combine, and so yeah, so it's there are many songs, and the song that I like might not necessarily the song that the kids like. So you have to know what they like. So a lot of kids where I teach, they're from the Bronx. So when they came to school, they always listen to rap music. So yeah. So if you like, Christian rap, there's Lecrae, things like that. Yeah. So, but thanks for the question. I'll find that song and I'll send you the link.
All right, thank you, Jack. I think right now we want to do some share outs or some Q&A questions out there. So we'll probably do like the next 15 minutes. So if you've been doing something that hasn't been highlighted by VYM or haven't you want to this opportunity to kind of share your good practices out there, then feel free to unmute yourself and then kind of share those practices, right? This should be a safe space where we can kind of like share ideas. I'm monitoring the the chat group right now on my phone and looking at questions. So let me answer one question first, and then once I'm done answering this question, if you have anything that you want to share out, then Jung Tam goes, what are some of the ideas to bring HIPC together? While they don't even reply to your message in the group chat, they kind of don't care anymore, even before the pandemic. I think right now, for me, with my group of HIPC couple mode, like I created a sense of like a community. We have our own separate chat group. Me and Jung Dat. We kind of monitor that group chat. I have a couple HIPCs who are only there because they're forced to be there. But at the same time, like sometimes if I at them enough, even if they don't reply to me, I'm like, how's everybody doing? I kind of at certain people. At least they see that I'm trying to engage them. Another way that I kind of do it, especially with HIPC, is by using Phung Fa Hong Loi. I have my Loi Joes, my Loi Falls. I don't always choose the smartest one. I try to choose people who are maybe they have all the skills, but also I choose some people who are really sociable. And so sometimes I send my HIPC Hannah out and I go, hey, Hannah, can you go talk to this kid, see if they can go log on, right? And so that way, there's always somebody who's reaching out to them. Obviously, we can't force them to come. Their parents can't drive them to Tunian and drop them off. But it's one of those things where you have this network where you kind of even in the chat group, even in Microsoft Teams, you can kind of add people, and then you can kind of try to get their attention. And it's up to them to reply, and it's kind of a grind, especially online. It's difficult, but sometimes I think what was it? I think it was Ji's homily during the Tunian Mass, right? All of our good kids are our blessing right now. And all the bad kids, or the bad kids, or the trouble kids, or the kids, or the difficult kids, those kids are the ones who are rewarded in heaven. And so for us to continue to reach out to GACAM, no matter Nghi or HIPC, they may be going through a lot of stuff. But knowing that, like Jao Fook said, always having a positive face, or kind of always trying to be there, kind of give them a text, but kind of give them the space, especially for teenagers, not being too overbearing and kind of play that fine line. And so for my thing, so my suggestion in a very short sense is to be persistent, but not be overbearing. Just know that there's a space for them. They're always welcome. And when they come back, if they come, you haven't seen them 4 weeks, they'll be like, hey, look at this. The black sheep has returned, right? Just be just treat them as normal. And then, maybe on the side message, hey, thanks for coming today, and kind of showing your appreciation. And so that's my one suggestion for that. Okay, but enough of the presenters presenting. So if anybody wants to do a share out, kind of highlight what you guys are doing at your dawn, or if you have more questions, feel free to either ask those questions verbally or in the chat group. And I'll go back to monitoring. Thank you for all the recommendations for the Christian rap music.
Yeah.
All right, hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
All right, this is Jung Jack from Atlanta, Georgia. So one thing I'm doing with my confirmation class is I'm trying to do virtual hours. So basically, it's like an office hour for those in college, but basically I'm just keeping it open after tuning mass from like 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. And basically how I'm doing this is I'm just gonna try and meet every Sunday, keep an opportunity for them to meet up. Basically the big initiatives that I'm trying to do is just try to push up for games during this time, because most of my students are bored during this. So I'm trying to do more cinema online. So when it comes to like Family Feud, Jeopardy, stuff like that, that's something I'm pushing over right here. Another thing that'll be great, since we have online chat and video. One thing I did for Vocations Day, I'm inviting JIG to come over and just talk to our students. So since we're on the web, it's easier to reach out. So there's some ideas right there. Also have like another friend priest in Rome. So he's a seminary, but we're just doing like video chats with people we don't see every day. So with the online stuff, it's easier to reach out to people across the globe or around your neighborhood and all. So just virtual hours just to catch up with my students and doing something like extra when it comes to games, or having special guests speak in my virtual hours as well.
Great idea, great effort. Keep doing it. Yeah.
Thank you, Jack. These are great, but so yeah, we would like to hear more.
Anyone has cool ideas you want to share with everyone?
As we wait for somebody to build up the courage to kind of talk. Remember, you just do audio. You don't need to turn on your videos if you're scared. Let's see. Oh,
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, hi. This is Jing Linda from Florida. Something Erdogan is trying to do is to make sure các em are more engaged. Since they're bored at home when they're not like doing their schoolwork, they're already online with like Instagram or TikTok. So what we're trying to do is trying to give them try to see if we can give them like mission assignments, quote unquote, where they have to either like go like mission assignments such as like, oh, honor the fourth commandment, go surprise your parents and record the reaction, or go do a good deed, and then just like send it in like weekly or other things, just fun things for them to do. Cause they're a little rotten, but yeah.
Very true, very true. Thank you for sharing. I found what was it? A Huynh friend of mine sent me a tiny saint, like what kind of saint are you quiz, and so I did it, and then I also kind of shared it with my Hipsy in our chat message group, and I told them to screenshot what saint they got. And so they sent that back, and then them not knowing, I was going to order them a little tiny saint keychain, and I was going to mail it to them, kind of to like show them that I'm thinking of them, and then whatever saint they are according to that quiz. So it's kind of like they did the quiz, and it's going to send it to them as a little gift, as kind of a reminder of I'm thinking about them and stuff like that too. So yeah, they are run. So quizzes that they usually don't take. They'll probably have a lot of time to do it nowadays. Oh, thanks, Anjung, for being Saint Dominic. Very nice, very nice. She's gonna follow up with this unknown. Oh, go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, hello quý trưởng. Em là Đạt from đoàn Thánh Tâm. So I have a quick question. Do the phong trào have a guideline for the online meeting? So for now, at cái DLC của em đang sinh hoạt bây giờ đó, thì khi mà làm online meeting á, tụi em phải làm record cái meeting đó until and save that record until everybody turn to 21. So which means em have a nghĩa sĩ, các em nghĩa sĩ, and I have an online meeting with them. I have to record that and save them until they turn to 21. And then some of the requirements, like they ask for the parents signate to them when we have an online meeting. So do the phong trào have any guideline meeting the guideline for the online meeting?
I'm gonna ask Anjung for this
right.
one.
Cảm ơn trưởng raised the question. We would recommend all Huynh trưởng, because all chapters fall under a parish, and a parish falls under a diocese. So first and foremost, go by your diocese guideline, whatever that diocese guideline is. Some do, some don't. The one that don't, then you sort of just kind of follow in general. You shouldn't have any private, kind of like what James said earlier, nothing private, things should be public, especially if they're a minor. It's always good to also have consent from the parent, or have the parent within the area. So things like that we've been able to get through. But again, if the diocese doesn't have guidelines, as a phong trào, we normally don't set out one particular guideline, just because certain chapter fall under certain dioceses and they have sort of different guidelines. But for us, no different. You shouldn't have anything private. You shouldn't be having private conversation. Things should be sort of in an open forum, and it shouldn't be just you and that one minor together. Sort of best practices and kind of prevention there. But thank you for the question. And if your diocese has those guidelines, please follow your diocese guidelines. Yeah.
Yeah, but like do that. But also just tell the kids. Like I think Hipsy kids, when they see that little red dot flashing, for me, like sometimes I feel kind of nervous, because then I know there's gonna be posted, and then I'm kind of a shy person who doesn't really like my stuff online. But I just got over the fear. Doing it for the better good, So just tell them like this is why we're recording, and be like we're not gonna share it, or you tell them the purpose of the recording, so that way when you have a thumbsuit or you're having a sharing, kids will still be able to feel comfortable and share, and that they know the reasons for the recording of the messages. That way, just everything's up front. And so they all know, and then it'll take a little bit of time for them to kind of ignore and just be like, whatever, isn't it? I'm sharing things that, I don't really mind sharing. And so that way you still build that a sense of community within your either Yesi or Hipsy groups. But yes, thank you to that for that question though.
I have a question. What's the best way to attend Mass together with kids, like logistically?
I think the official VE Wine answer is to log on to Facebook and go to the VE Wine page at 12 p.m. Eastern time and watch the live Mass together. That way we know that if you know live Mass is going on, it like for some reason, like I tell my mom all the time, like, hey, Mom, why you got to wake up this early for Mass when you can watch it some other time? But my mom was like, there's always something special about live Mass. And that it's happening right there, and you know that Jazz doing it right there, right then. So kind of like scheduling a time for them to like, this is the time that Jazz is going to celebrate Mass. And so do that. Ask them to be in uniform. Have them like maybe take a picture of themselves in uniform with the TV in the background, with a clever hashtag. A hashtag that is unique to your door and your cup. Something that's an inside joke, and then kind of like share the pictures. Kind of like show that you're in this together. And always leading by example. If you want kids to go to Mass at a certain time, you go to that Mass. You put your uniform on, and then you share that picture with your Yesi Hipsy, and then like, look, who's down with me, who's going to do this with me, and then you know for sure that there's that one kid who will appreciate it, and then like it's not like it's one of those things where it's like I'm with you, and or night, like so we have that. Jessica says in the chat group, we also done a Zoom for the kids to log in, and we broadcast the VUIM onto one screen as well. Okay, so then they can all watch it at the same time in uniform together. So that's a really good one. Somebody says, Manduk says to use Netflix Party to watch movies and shows. That's a Google Chrome extension that people have been telling me about. Just like the app we kind of mentioned earlier with Rave. Rave is it's not one of the terminologies that we want to use in Fengchao, but it's a way that you can watch YouTube videos and other things. Like if you want to watch that movie on Netflix, Two Popes, it might be a good opportunity to watch Two Popes using Rave or Netflix Party as well. Okay, so is it laggy? No. Somebody's asking if it's laggy.
Cho cha trả lại cái câu hỏi vừa nãy là
Yeah.
How is it what's the best way to watch mass together or participate mass together? So the past like week and a half, I've been experimenting with how to interact more with people, how to engage people, and so live stream is really one directional. And so what I incorporate in that is with Zoom. So like we have Liên đoàn Mass before phong trào Mass, and so I invite một đoàn, to like this Sunday we'll do một đoàn, đoàn Teresa ở Bridgeport, Connecticut. They'll want to be the reader or the responder to all the parts of the Mass. There'll be a singer. They'll pray the faithful. Like, so it's actually their voice. They go into Zoom, and their voice will be recorded on live stream. So that's one way to get participation. So when you hear that, your đoàn is responsible for the liturgy today, even though it is through Zoom, people can hear your voice and they contribute to that too. And so I've been doing this with a group from various places, Texas and California, Las Vegas, and it's working out well. So you can't have multiple people sing at the same time or saying the same time, but you just pick one. And so this is one way to engage people, and they appreciate when they hear their children's voice or their friend's voice. That's one way to engage. So it already requires is a laptop and an iPad. I stream with an iPad, and then I use the laptop for Zoom. And so your liturgy team will go through Zoom in the laptop, and then the iPad will stream out the rest. And so the people who are on your team who contribute to the stream, and then there are people who are just watching the stream, like usual. So that's just one way I use to engage people.
Thank you, Stefan. Amy asks, how do we pitch this idea to our Huynh in Duan? Some Huynh might feel that it's too time-consuming, impossible to do, waste of time, etc. So with my circumstances, like originally I'm from Orange County, but I work in the Bay Area. So I Sinhua at multiple Duans. Most of the time, like my Duan in San Jose, at my Duan in particular, I'm the only Huynh who's still Sinhua with my Hipsy kids. All the other guys aren't doing anything. And instead of me like complaining and like forcing other Huynh to like, hey, follow my lead, I'm doing it. And the other Huynh, they know I'm doing it. And now it's kind of like I've laid the challenge down to the other Huynh, not verbally, but they know I'm doing it. Because my other Huynh, who is the Huang Huan, he kind of screenshotted and then kind of shared it within our group. And so other Huynh know I'm doing it. I don't want to judge other people because everybody, this pandemic is kind of like doing things. Everybody's reacting differently. And so I feel like at least for myself as a Huynh, tuning gives me some sense of normalcy, and being able to sit with my kids, it gives me something to do, right? And then my daughter in SoCal, we kind of pass it around, like 5 Huynh are in charge of this week, another group of 5 is in charge of next week. So if you're part of that, or you're a Huynh at a Duan who you don't have a lot of buy-in, I would just start with my own gut or my own nan. and tell my Donjung like, hey, no one's going to do anything, and I want to do something for my Yesi or my Hipsi, and I'm going to do it. Unless you have something that, unless like, your Jasu or whatever says, now, no, you can't. I don't see why not, especially, but it's one of those things where like, lead by example, and especially for us working with the older kids in the group, step up, do it, Bible Mad Gap. I'll actually copy the page. I'll send the link to this right here. And if you go back to the Bible share, the Bible Mad Gap title page, there's a link underneath for the Bible Mad Gap. Okay, so you have that there. Okay, so that's what I'll do. But yeah, Amy, I hope that answers your question. And then Jum, I will share the slideshow with you right now so that you all can have it in this group.
Thank you, James. I'm gonna add to that step up moment.
Yes, that's Jack.
Okay, trong những cái adversaries hay là những crisis đó, nó will test us individually and also as a whole. Just to keep in mind that yes, there will be people who just like, okay, I don't have to go to the news, I don't have to do anything. That's fine. Mình không có force được. Nhưng mà this is true in general in life. When the crisis comes, it will separate the spirit of the person. Either it will let you have opportunity to shine. It also show a crack. For some, it'd be like, okay, it will show the true side. So just to be aware, hay là patient, hay là just to take this moment as opportunity, hay là see that true character. If they really do say what they do, hay là who they are, the true spirit. So in a way, I would advocate for this thing happen so that we know who people are. So then just be faithful to that. Okay. So don't be discouraged. In other words, don't be discouraged that people will just have many reasons not to do things, and that's fine. But you will find people will step up, and that will show that the genuinely who the authentic self. So then it's a great thing to have in order to know who they are. Okay.
And then Anjung has asked us to, maybe one or two more people who could either share or questions, and then we will kind of wrap it up. It's been a really good session so far. So yeah, two more people, either a share out or a question. I'm typing my email down in the chat group, so if you have other questions, feel free to reach out to me. Yeah, I'm Huynh Hipsi, but I also teach freshmen and sophomores, so that's on Yesi age, right? So I can help in that sense too. So two more shout outs or questions, and then we'll go into what we call as BIMAC, which is BAMAC for BSL people. But yeah.
Hello?
James, yes, can you hear me? For calling on to yes, I can hear you. Thank you for calling on to TNTT Town Hall.
Hey, James is Dad calling from Kilovo, Linawonsong. I just have a quick question. I came in a little bit late because I'm kind of driving. Don't worry, I'm on Bluetooth, so it should be fine. Anyway, so I have a quick question regarding like not so much with the kids, but more with the Huynh trưởng as well as the Phụ huynh, more like a giao tế question. For certain đoàn, like the bigger đoàn, we have older Huynh trưởng, and sometimes we have open communication with like Phụ huynh and whatnot. And we sometimes run into these one or two individuals who kind of, because we're Vietnamese, we have this mentality that like spreading fear, like giống như là cái kiểu this time is a very tough time, so people are very scared of everything, so they like to like put these messages or like these things out there. Is there a way that how do we talk to these individuals to help, to basically help guide them to like not spread fear among the kids or like send out information that is like way overboard? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I like to be a source of like positivity for my kids, right? So our kid, like even myself, like I left my San Jose house because I was living with my grandparents to go back down here to stay with my parents or whatnot. And my parents are like ultimate, like, you know, they're like they're super afraid. Like my dad thinks that if I go outside and just go for a walk, like I'm gonna catch COVID. And so there's a lot of like so one is like if we're broadcasting, I would suggest to like, especially for the older kids, right? Like I feel like the Nghi Hipsy kids, like they're a little bit more like they're kind of like in the middle. Some of them are leaning one way to the other, and I would just talk to them directly, kind of thing. I think that's the question, right? Because you have like, how do you like block out all this negativity? The sky is falling from some of the older people, and so one is, if I'm dealing with a older Huynh or I'm dealing with a Huynh, like I don't want to downplay their concerns. Like you want to be open, you want to be receptive to what they're saying, understand that they're coming from a situation where there's a lot of uncertainty, and they're like, they lived on this earth for so long and they thought they've seen everything, and now they're at a more vulnerable stage in their life, and now they're kind of like tripping out. And so yes, we know that, you know, drinking hot water, boiling hot water is not a cure for having COVID, and stuff like that, you know. But you have to understand that they're coming from a different situation, and they think that, you know, they're trying to help us with information. So I would just listen and thank them for, you know, reaching out and talking to me. But when going and being that face to các em Nghi Hipsy, identify the issue. They know what's going on. They may not know the severity. They might not understand like why we need to stay home and not go out and play basketball or hang out with their friends or go to school. And so for Nghi Hipsy, they're a little bit more understanding. They're probably going through a lot of other stuff. And so kind of being that balance kind of thing. I think somebody, so yeah, I don't know if that answered your question or that, but you know, you have my number. We could talk about it offline and stuff like that too. Well, yeah. Oh, and then there's Anyung has a panel for Huynh too. So he just dropped the flyer down. So you can share that through your Keto Bull Facebook group, and I know you have a new Keto Bull Instagram page. So maybe sharing that flyer, kind of getting your parents to call on and listening to that will kind of help the Huynh kind of understand what's going on in these uncertain times.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of anxiety, a lot of uncertainty. So youth can be a source of stability and peace for them, calm them down. This is very emotionally stressed on that direction. So pastoral care, I would just say, pastoral care. You should be compassionate and also help them to they just need somebody to hear you, to hear them. And you know, this is a time where things go crazy. So you just have to somehow a source of peace for them.
And then finally, any last questions or comments before we move into our Baymac for today?
Hello.
Yes.
Hi, this is Trưởng Jessica from Liên đoàn Ignacio Đoàn Chú Hải Đồng. I have been working with our Ngân Trưởng for Nghĩa sĩ in our đoàn to run an Instagram page for các em Nghĩa sĩ. Our profile is at CHDNS 2019. So we've been making bingo cards as shown earlier for các em Nghĩa sĩ, very đoàn specific, and for Huynh trưởng within our đoàn. And I have been the one posting. So when it comes to posting on our social media, what we do in our đoàn is we get ideas from Huynh trưởng, and we can even ask for Huynh trưởng to make these posts, but as a draft, and then it goes through a finalization process before we post it online. Therefore, we get many different opinions and drafts before something goes online for our students to see. We also share posts from other social medias onto our Instagram stories, such as posts from the CDC and the World Health Organization, just informational guides there from credible sources. So I dropped in the chat that part, and thank you, Juk Mary from Chu Hai Dong too. Those are 2 bingo cards, and then we also have I think 4 little check-in Instagram story cards that focus on what students are grateful and struggling with. Mary just dropped those in the chat for us. So I've been using Canva, which is a free online app to create these Instagram stories, and there are so many templates online where you can play with the colors and the words. I've even put in some quotes from Pope Francis in his recent masses and homilies, just to tie in prayer with our Instagram stories. Our students are really engaged with our Instagram. They submit direct messages of things that they're struggling or grateful for. And they also answer question cards and polls online, which we then share if they are comfortable with us sharing that. Otherwise, we just keep them in our prayers. But yeah, that's about all I have from Ardoin.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Jessica, for sharing that.
Awesome. Thank you.
Took the screenshot, so I'm gonna share that with my Hipsy. So thank you for that.
Yes, please save them to your phones and share them with Kakjung. We'd love to see it circulating. You can tag us on Instagram, and I'll drop our Instagram handle in there too.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you, Kakjung. We're gonna move on to Baymac now. So I'm gonna pass it over. Jabin, I know you're on the East Coast. Jack on you still on the line, Jack. Jabin. Don't do Nui.
Okay, thank you, James. Finally, I have a chance to talk. Chị rất là cảm ơn. It's a good talk, a good time together this evening. Tại vì we have 2 wonderful cha tương quý and 2 wonderful ủy viên là Trứng James và Trứng Cương. All of them, 4 of them are involved in education, are teaching. It's wonderful. And thank you các trưởng cho they we spend time together this evening. I feel a lot of energy and dedication and love you have within yourself, Phong Trào, and for các em too. So I want just a brief message for nãy giờ các cha các trưởng nói vấn đề how to relate to các em rồi. Bây giờ cha just have a good brief message about with you guys here who are present here in this conference call. We all know that we are in the unprecedented time where we and the whole world share the same pain, same concern, same fear, and we're all vulnerable. So, but we need to overcome the fear. We need to, at this time more than ever, we need to pray. And then we trust in God, because we trust that God is here with us in the midst of a pandemic. And especially we are living in land. This land is different than the rest of the land in our lives. And very soon we will enter the Holy Week next week already. So for sure that this Holy Week will be different. This Easter will be different. In Easter we may not be able to get together in church to celebrate the celebration with the music, with the eggs and Easter eggs and so on. But for sure that we even though we don't go to church together, we are united in different way. We are connected from heart to heart. So God is here with us, and then also we celebrate, we enter the Holy Week with the raw material, where Jesus had gone through the agony, the pain. He suffered on the cross and he was about to die. And he cried out to the Father, why have you forgotten me? So forsaken me. So I think that we have the raw material for living land. We are in the same pain, agony that Jesus had went through before. So what kind of that? I ask you to reflect on that, on the suffering of Jesus, and with us, and then how we live land this year, and at the end we hope for the resurrection. So I personally believe that even though the report today, the CNN report today, that the cases keep increasing and the death toll is rising, but somehow within myself, I believe that in this resurrection, there must be a hope in that for the life of resurrection. Maybe not in the way that the world is looking at, but in the faith, in the land of faith, we need to see that deeper, that God reveals His glory to us in this time and this resurrection. So I encourage các church every day, instead of fixing on the fear, but keep hoping, keep praying, keep reflecting on what is going on, what that it means to me, to us, and to the world now. So let the glory of God be revealed in this time. So cha con cảm ơn các trường rất nhiều và hope, pray that everyone we are together with the hope and with the hope of the resurrection.
Rồi, con xin cảm ơn cha. So really just on this moment, let's take this amazing opportunity to first cảm ơn cha Phước, cảm ơn cha Trung, and our two amazing ủy viên, trưởng James và trưởng Cương. It's truly God's divine plan that all education in the field of education. And then last but not least, cảm ơn tất cả các trưởng thật là nhiều. I'll share this true story. This was just 2 days ago. If you know the National Federation of Catholic Youth Ministry, they are a massive organization all around the country, and they have members from everywhere, youth ministers that they facilitate programs and planning for. They held a training for their youth leaders, equivalent to us, to attend and learn of ways to work with the youth, to accompany youth, sort of kind of like what we're doing. And there were only about 130 people who registered. And those who actually showed up and sat into the call were about 30 or 40 members only. And I'm looking at our numbers when we started at 160, 170, and now we're at 120 and 110. And the difference, all of those individuals too, they're paid staff that now they're teleworking and they have to call in. And for all of you, you do this out of your own free will, of your own volunteer, your own heart, your own goodness, that you can support from JAS, support các em. If anything, you know, we often hear right now that the medical providers, they're the heroes. And yes, truly they are. And we need to pray for them as well. But I think đối với phong trào, đối với các em right now as they're journeying through this, you are their heroes. And I said it in the video on Facebook. I said it in the announcement. You know, our heroes, we wear a red crown. So we wear sort of like this awesome red cape per se with the Eucharist in the back. So do know that we're here with you. And we want to be available and have all the resources available for you so that you can journey with the youth. So everything here we'll post on the weekly. And if you didn't know, please follow our bi-weekly news, because you know now, 4 đoàn, I mean, 4 ngành for every chapter, you have these free accounts. There should be 40 open scholarships out there for you, because we know some of you may have some difficulty during this period, so that you can have other training, đi sa mạc, đi đại hội, đi other faith-based ministry equivalent event. So those are on there for you. We even stood up a Huynh trưởng wellness support line for our members. And so if there are spiritual discernment questions or just personal emotional questions, we have professionals who are on the line to support you as needed. So if you follow all of our news there. And this came off one of our Huynh trưởng, they recommended, actually trưởng James did, with everything that, you know, we're asking of you to help with the youth. You know, he made a recommendation, maybe Trung ương should nationally have something to kind of support các trưởng. And literally we took it to heart right away. We sat and we thought about it. and bam. So do keep an eye out. Right after Easter, you will see for the first time ever, we will have our first virtual Easter celebration concert. And so it'll be neat for you to see familiar faces around the country in uniform singing and performing. And all you got to do is just log in, get your family together, and have a wonderful time. And we're also going to be setting up a town hall next week for the parents, as some of you may have alluded to, that recognizing that they too struggle during this particular time. It's hard for them as well. And so if you have the parents, if you get the flyer, spread the word. It'll be all in Vietnamese, and we'll have all professionals on the line to support them from medical, from psychological, spiritual, educational, and it'll be all in Vietnamese. And all the providers, they're all parents, so they can empathize, except for the priests, of course. But the priests have a ton of spiritual children too, so in that sense. And then the schedule for VYM Tam Nhật Thánh Triduum, it's out. Please follow that. Those are all thiếu nhi focus, with the focus on các em. And the Friday coming up, Ban Nhân Huấn will release a very unique youth-centered Station of the Cross, so that các em có thể journey through this process of the Station of the Cross, or the family can do this together. So when the information goes out, actually that'll be good for nghệ sĩ and hiệp sĩ to kind of have that along. And along the way, Ban Nhân Huấn Trung ương will send out a survey just to kind of assess some of the progress that Phong Trào has done. And again, all of this is to support you in any way that we can. So on behalf of Ban chấp hành Trung ương, on behalf of all the liên đoàn and tất cả các em của Phong Trào, from the bottom of our hearts, we truly thank you, and we appreciate your love, your commitment for Phong Trào, and we'll continue to pray for you and pray for us as well. And let's do all of this together, because this is our home, our Phong Trào, all for God, together in His name. So I turn back to Quý Cha for the lời nguyện bế mạc. Con xin cảm ơn mọi người.
Maybe Cha Trung, can you do the blessing? Because Cha Phước did the opener.
Sure. Rồi xin Cha và Con và Thánh thành Amen. Chúng con dâng lên Chúa con người của chúng con, tâm hồn và ý chí của chúng con, và cũng như những người thân trong gia đình của chúng con và những người đang gặp khó khăn trong lúc này. Chúa biết là chúng con đang qua những giai đoạn khó khăn nhất trong sống ở đất Mỹ này và cả thế giới. Xin Chúa tiếp tục cho chúng con cảm nhận được tình yêu của Chúa, cảm nhận được sức mạnh có trong mình, để rồi có thể tiếp tục là khí cụ của Chúa cho chính mình và cũng như cho người thân của mình. Chúng con dâng tất cả chúng con và những người này lên cho Chúa, xin Chúa chúc lành và ban ân sủng cho chúng con. Chúng con cầu xin để Chúa Kitô chúc chúng con.
Amen.
Amen.
All right, with that, thank you for everybody for calling in. Anh Cương and I dropped our emails in the chat box. We're tagged in the VEYM post, so if you have questions, feel free to Facebook message us or send us something through Microsoft Teams. And I know Cha Phước and Cha Trung will also probably be available if you guys want to reach out to them as well. So thank you. Have fun with your Nghi and Hipsies online, and then we hope to see more good things online. So have a good night.